Hi, I am Sock Marionette. Welcome to Midweek Motivation. And if you were here from the get-go, sorry, appreciate your patience. And you did see me doing a little bit of a tiara drop. I'm not having a great day. Hey, Abby Jean. Nice to see you. I know you don't always have time to be here live and in person, so I appreciate your being here. Thanks. Anyway, I'm not having a super great day. I'm hoping it's one of those days where just showing up is enough. I'm having some problems with the pharmacy. They say they contacted my doctor asking for a refill, and my doctor's like, no, they didn't. And meanwhile, I'm completely out of the medication. I haven't had lunch yet. I do have it by my side, though. Check it out. We've got a stuffed sandwich. It is, there we go. It is stuffed with meatball, a giant meatball and some tomato sauce. And I think there's some cheese in there as well. I'm actually not that hungry. Abby Jean says, sorry you aren't having a great day. Your tiara is beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. I haven't worn this one in a while. I haven't, this is my hearts ensemble with the little hearts on it. And I wore this tiara and this hearts ensemble like pretty much constantly for videos and live streams during February because of Valentine's Day. And then I kind of backed off from it for a while, and now I just decided this was a good day to bring it back. I also have a coffee beverage. It has a creamer in it that is flavored to be like white chocolate and raspberry. It's very nice, actually. That's the stuff. So anyway, I missed last week. I was like, I need a break. Hey, it's Roxanne. Hi, love the hearts. Thank you. Yum, says Abby Jean. I am drinking hot chocolate. Yeah, because last week I canceled Midweek Motivation because I was just like, I need a break. I just need to have a day where I'm not doing anything. And then I ended up having a headache. So I spent the time I would have spent doing Midweek Motivation trying to make sure that my headache didn't get any worse. And it got better. I'm happy to say, but it was like, that was not the relaxing time I thought it would be. But I was able to go to, that was October 1st. So that was like the fall reading challenge check-in with Tea and Biscuits. Speaking of Tea and Biscuits, they are having a live stream tonight at 7. This is I don't remember if it's on B's channel or Tara's channel, but it is the reading sprints, not the discussion. I haven't read the book yet. I do have it out from the library. It's Autumn Bride by somebody or other. I can't see it. It's on the other side of the room. I haven't read it yet, though, and I'm not going to read it tonight because those books, I kind of prefer to read them much closer to the discussion time because I might forget, because I read a lot, and I might forget what I read. Now, so on September 2nd, which was last Thursday, I finished. Actually, it was on September 1st. I finished my my grid. And Gracie, says Gwen. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Gwen is super great at having answers or looking them up if she doesn't have them right in the old brain box. Anyway, so I had finished this and I started another one. So I started I kind of finished up exactly at the end of the day on the 1st of October. So I started on the 2nd of October and I kind of went to town. New color scheme. Let's see. Dark orange is online reading. That would be a long form journalism, commentary, and fan fiction especially. Pale orange, that's for arcs. And I think the arc that I read, I think this is all the same arc, which was a very dense, not dense as in stupid, but dense as in packed with information, geology book that's coming out in December. And it was kind of rough going. Doesn't go rough going. It was kind of, it didn't go super fast. I was stopping to look stuff up because the pictures I was getting on my Kindle were grayscale. I don't know if, I think they're like that because based on what some other people said, but I don't have a color Kindle. That would have been like $200 or $300 more than I already was spending. Anyway, so I was like constantly looking things up so I could see these formations that he was talking about in color. So it's worth it. I got to see a lot of really pretty stuff. We are also picking next month's book. Oh, that's right. That's right. This is when we pick for November. Is November a second chance month? I don't know. We'll find out. They'll tell us. Anyway, but then I started another arc yesterday, I think. This morning I took Mom Marionette to a meeting, and I just waited in the car while she had her meeting, and it ended up being kind of a bit of time, which was fine. I had my Kindle with me, so I was working on this arc, which is cozy fantasy romance heist kind of a situation. It's not coming out until January. It's called A Barista's Guide to Love and Larceny. I can't remember. Hang on, I have to take a call from the pharmacy, so I'm going to mute you. Okay, sorry about that. That was the pharmacy calling me back, and they said they can give me a quick dispensation. They can dispense like 3 days supply, and hopefully they're saying, well, we called the doctor 3 times and they haven't gotten back to us. And the doctor's like, well, they haven't contacted us, and I don't know what's going on. It's the pharmacy's problem, the doctor's problem. Somehow it's all my problem. Anyway, but they said that they can give me 3 days worth, and then hopefully that will be enough to bridge the gap, because this is really turning into a nightmare. Okay, that sounds right up my alley, says Abby Jean. Okay, what was I doing? I was literally reaching for my Kindle to look up the info on the book, and then the phone rang. So I appreciate your forbearance, because what a mess. Okay. A barista's guide to love and larceny. by Caroline. Come on. Caroline Bonin, Bonin, and it's being released in January. And so far, I'm about a third of the way through. I'm really, really liking it. It's kind of like a modern setting, like an academic setting, but they have, you know, various supernatural powers that are known about. And like one of the characters is a werewolf, and, everybody knows about witches and stuff, but they also have this like corporate structure to it. So it's fun. I'm enjoying it. Like I said, I'm about a third of the way through. Really having a good time. It is set in fall. In fact, I'm at the point where somebody's having a birthday party on Halloween because that is his literal birthday. That's the werewolf. Halloween is his literal birthday. And since my literal birthday is the day after Halloween, anyway, and then Gwen says the book pick is second chance, but for the book, not the lovers. Yeah, that's what I was trying to express. Thank you. Appreciate it. And Wyoming is here, and she says barkity. And I don't have any dogs handy. I was like struggling with the lighting and so on, and like stupid prescription situation. And I have this bear. This is Melinda. She's got little stripes on her feet and in her bow. And she's got a little dark red Dior rose in her bow. I think of her as a jazz baby. I feel like she's probably spends a lot of time being a flapper bear in speakeasies and drinking bathtub gin, which would make her kind of like my grandmother, except my grandmother wasn't a bear, but she was a flapper. And then I also have this Raggedy Ann that I got recently from eBay. She came from Quincy, Illinois. Okay, so I was talking about my reading. So yeah, I was reading that this morning in the car, and it was raining. It was warm, but it was raining very heavily. Fortunately, it let up enough that I could roll down the windows and get some fresh air for some of that time. But it was all very cozy. And so my mom's meeting went fine. But it was a little more time consuming than I was expecting. And then when she came out, I was like, I need to make a stop on the way home. And we were both tired because it was very early that we got up. I didn't get a whole lot of sleep last night because of the medication thing. And I was like, I want to make a stop on the way home. And she gets this look on her face like, no, I just want to go. And she said, where do you need to stop? And I said, Neil's Donuts. And she was like, oh, yes, I want to stop at Neil's Donuts. Your speakeasy bear is cute, says Wyoming. I love that Raggedy Ann. This Raggedy Ann, she came with an apron, but she didn't care for it. People kept asking her to bring them coffees or whatever, and she was like, no, I'm not doing that. Anyway, she came, like I said, I got her on eBay, and I have so many Raggedy Anns and Andys that I always name them like after the place where they came from. And she came from Quincy, Illinois. So my mother and I had a good old time trying to figure out if it's pronounced Quincy, like Quincy, California, or Quincy, like Quincy, Mass. We think it's Quincy, but she'll answer to either one. Anyway, she and the bear are just stone cold chilling. So yeah, back to this. So what I have here is, like I said, the darker orange is online reading. The paler orange is ARCs. This gray square, and I only have 1 hour for that. That's Kindle Unlimited. On this one, Kindle Unlimited was the orange. And I went to town on Kindle Unlimited because of I was doing the fall challenge, and that's where you can find the monster books that would fulfill those prompts on the big board. Great stuff. So anyway, yeah. So this time I haven't done too much Kindle Unlimited. And black is books that I own. And then purple is library books. Yes, I'm back on my library habit again, because I found my local library suddenly starts having all kinds of dark and super spicy, downright romance. And so I don't have to drive all the way up to Windsor Locks to get it. And I saw these books on the shelf, so I grabbed some, and it's Chantal Tessier. And I started reading one of them, and I was like, wow, this is like really violent and kind of weird, and I can't look away. I can't look away. So anyway, I checked out 3 of them, I think, total, and I've read 2 of them, and then I'm a little over halfway through this one. These are not short books. So anyway, that is the story with all of the library reading I've been doing. And so yeah. But today I'm reading one of my own books. That's going to be a black square or 2, and that is Wife Errant by Joan Smith. Oh, by the way, I did like an hour and a half of yuck yesterday. I went on a cleaning and organizing spree. I don't know. I say that like it's fun. It was a spree. It wasn't like a shopping spree. I started after lunch yesterday. I was like, my sitting room, and especially the closet in the sitting room, but the whole thing was like a real mess and stuff that needed to get organized. So I thought after lunch, I was like, I'm just going to do this until I don't feel like doing it anymore. The next thing I know, it's like an hour and a half later, and I've done like 95% of it. So that was nice. That was nice. I just got on a roll and went with it. And that was pretty good. So now my sitting room is very tidy and lovely. And so, yeah, that's my 90 minutes of yuck. And I did it yesterday. So anyway, so this is the book. So I'm going to, for the 10 minutes of yuck, I'm just going to start reading the book, but I'll read the back to you. And great job, says Abby Jean. Thank you. I was very pleased. I was like, oh, wow. Because it was easier than I thought it was going to be, but it was also more time consuming. But it wasn't like it was hard to do. I mean, physically, I was lifting stuff up and running up and down to the attic and things like that. But, you know, it was psychologically, it was not like the big onerous task I thought it was going to be. So like I said, I just kept going until I was like almost done. Not quite, because I did kind of run out of steam toward the end, but it was like, yeah, now all I need to do is just like take some stuff out to the trash and down to the car, and that's it. Oh, yeah. Anyway, so this is today's book, Wife Errant by Joan Smith. This is a Fawcett Regency. It is 188 pages long, and it's copyright 1992. And I like the way they're sitting. They're just kind of, he looks like he really likes her. He's not like, he's like, I really like you. I'm into you. I enjoy talking to you. And she's like, do you enjoy talking to me, or are you looking down my dress? What is your deal? I like that she's flirtatious but skeptical, and he's just like, I think you're neat. I like that. Now, this is what it says on the back. I have no intention of really being a loose woman. You know, having the same trouble of having trouble telling the difference between commas and periods. I have no intention of really being a loose woman, you know, Lord Revel. I just want Mama to think so. With Mama dashing... I'm not sure I understand what they're trying to say here. With Mama dashing scandalously about Bath. Oh, okay. I see. She's dashing scandalously around Bath. Okay. With Mama dashing scandalously about Bath, playing young flirt to avenge Papa's improprieties, Tess Marchant realized that neither she nor her younger sister stood a chance of any sort of entree into polite society, much less of finding a husband. Though woefully ignorant of the ways of the world, Tess decided that a few secret trysts of her own would spur rumors of indiscretion and give Mama a taste of her own medicine. Mom, you're embarrassing me. I know, I'm going to embarrass you in return. This is like a setup for like a Freaky Friday thing, but I don't think so. Lord Revel, nice name there. Lord Revel, a notorious rake in his own right, was only too happy to play the part of ardent paramour. Tess was by no means an antidote. She was, in fact, so charming that a harmless flirtation might be difficult to maintain. So yes, Wife Errant. Show me some more of this adult thing you call kissing, Lord Revel. So that's what I'll be reading today. And I don't want to go too long. It's 100, like I said, it's 188 pages. I don't want to go too long because, of course, the tea and biscuits at 7 o'clock uh, the tea and biscuits at 7 o'clock Eastern, right? So I don't want to go too late because I would like to attend those as well. So anyway, I don't know if you can tell, but somebody has written some notes on the back cover. They're in pencil, so they're kind of hard to read. It's also, they're in cursive because, 1992. So it looks like they've written down some phrases that they maybe weren't sure about or that they liked. Doing a flit. Went off into gales of laughter. Turned her fulminating gaze on I can't read this person's handwriting because I think they were just making notes to themselves, so they weren't like trying to make it tidy. So a smile formed on his lips is another phrase that they thought was noteworthy. Her comment rambled. N'est-ce pas, the French word. I don't know. Maybe these are just things that appear a lot in this book. Let's see. Playing with words, language. Okay, so I guess they were just like kind of doing a deep dive on this text. So we're going to do 10 minutes of yuck. So we're going to go until, we're going to go until 35 minutes past the hour. So I think, yep. So sprinting and okay, and I will let you know how the first 10 minutes goes. Okay, see you in about 10. Looks like I forgot to mute the microphone. Abby Jean said that she has some cleaning to do. So I didn't get much reading done. I'm really distracted by this whole business with my prescription, and it's just driving me nuts. Because I had to check my email because there was a message from my doctor's office, and I thought, oh, maybe they're going to tell me that they sent the prescription in. All it just said was, if you have a question about your prescription, yeah, I do. Why hasn't it been filled? Why? Anyway, enough of that. So I only read about 10 pages or so of this book. So what's happening is that Tess is the older daughter. Apparently there are no brothers. Her parents' marriage is on the rocks. They're in Bath. They normally live in, I think, Wiltshire, which is not that far from Bath, but you know. And they're trying to plan for her younger sister, Dulcie, who's, I think, 4 years younger, to have her debut in London. Tess never got a debut because when they were planning it, her father comes to her and says, oh, there's no money. We can't do this. And then he goes out and buys himself a new coach and 4. And then the following year, her mother had a miscarriage. So nobody wanted to go to London, and that was fine. And then the year after that, her mother was like, oh, well, it's too late. You're too old. If you go, you're just going to feel really weird being around all those young girls. And so she's like, basically, and also her parents, her mother especially, but both of her parents are super flighty. And so she's kind of taken over managing the house and making sure her younger sister has some kind of guidance in life. And everybody's just coming down on her like really hard over everything from all directions. So she's decided it's not just that her mother is like running around like flirting with dudes and threatening to divorce her father, which means nobody gets a debut, nobody gets a husband, or at least not from the upper echelons of society. So it's more than just like trying to embarrass her mother, and it's more than just flirting with the dude. She's just like, I'm not going to answer any more mail for you. How do you like that? You're going to have to take care of your own estate. How do you like that? You know, I'm not going to get up at all hours in the morning to take care of stuff for you anymore. I'm just going to sleep in. I'm going to go buy stuff. What are you going to do about it? So it's a full scale rebellion. It's not just about flirting with some dude. It's just like, yeah, I'm just doing my own thing. So that's fun so far. And we do have our first in-text citation from our anonymous reader of the past, who Lord James is the guy that her mom's like trying to flirt with. Lord Revel, as we know, is the guy that she is going to, enlist in her campaign of misbehavior and social annoyance toward her family. It's not just her mother she's mad at. And Tess is describing why Lord James, the guy her mom's flirting with, would have to listen to Lord Revel if Lord Revel had a chat with him, even though Lord Revel is younger. She says, because Lord Revel is top of the trees and Lord James is only a lower twig. And our reader from the past, she liked that. So, ooh, and I haven't even gotten there yet, but there's more to come. And boy, at the start of chapter 3, wait, where's the start of chapter 3? I don't know if you can see because it's pencil, so it's not easy to see in such bright light. But our fellow book club member from the past had lots of thoughts. Gwen says, nothing like being 20 and already over the hill. Oh, I know. And her mother is like freaking out and basically having a midlife crisis, which, she's 39. At the time, that was reasonable. But they're like, oh, it's so hard for a woman to turn 40. And I'm like, Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I got a birthday coming up. It's double nickels. I'm going to be 55. I'm going to be eligible for certain senior discounts. I don't know that. Yeah. Anyway, so feels like just yesterday I was being carded for buying wine. Now I'm going to be carded for trying to buy wine at a discount. I don't know if they give senior discounts for wine, and I don't really drink that much wine anymore. But anyway, so I'm enjoying this, except for like these weird messages from the doctor's office and the pharmacy. It seems like everybody's dropping the ball, and I'm the one who has to fix it. So, is anybody else reading anything? How's that going? Oh, I also ate my stromboli. It was very tasty. It was leftovers. We had this. My mom picked it up yesterday when she was out running errands, and so we just had it today because when we got home, it was probably, I think by the time we got home, it was like 9:30 or so, and we had those donuts because we went to Neil's Donuts, so we weren't terribly hungry for lunch. So that's why I waited so long to eat. And so yeah, that was leftovers from yesterday, so it was good. Well, if nobody wants to update or is in a position to update what they're up to, I might as well start another sprint. And this time we can go, I think I want to go until 3:30 so that I can get some momentum going on this book. So, oh, Abby Jean says, I am currently reading Sarah MacLean's The Day of the Duchess, and I'm making my way through Ruby Dixon's Bear Shifter shorts. They're not the best, but I'm reading her whole backlist. Nice. I, like I said, this reading, I'm like, oh, this is awful. I mean, the writing's fine, but it's just like, oh, these situations, these people, what they're doing, it's terrible, it's terrible. And the next thing I know, I've like read the entire book, and I'm like, when can I get the next terrible book? It's just like, I don't know. And Gwen says, I'm reading, listening to the mysteries of Adolfo. It's 30 hours. Well, was it you? Were you the one who was listening to Gone with the Wind? Somebody was listening to Gone with the Wind. And I was like, that must be like really, really long. And that I feel like, whoever read Gone with the Wind should be able to use it to fill multiple prompts because it's a long book. It's a long listen. I looked it up and it was like 52 hours or something. I mean, it may vary from production to production, but the one I looked up was like 52 hours. Like, wow. Makes 30 hours shorter than 52. I can do math. But still, that's a journey you're going on. Are you listening to it at one-to-one speed or 1.5 or because that is a journey. Wife errant. I guess the wife errant is her mom, but apparently her dad is also a husband errant. So not great. Not great position that they're putting their kids in. Okay, well, I'm going to put us on a sprint until 30 minutes past the hour. So it's just a smidge bit under 45 minutes. And hopefully I don't get any more calls that I need to deal with. So I will see you in about 45. And this time I'm going to, Gwen says, she's listening at 1.35. I guess that's the speed at which you're listening to it. It's my door stopper for the year. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm going to mute myself and we can have a sprint. Okay, it's past, and I'm just taking a quick look at the pharmacy situation because I know everybody is eager to see how that is turning out. It's important to me. Okay. I'm doing two-factor authentication, and it's a pain in the neck, but okay. And we're back. And oh, I wanted to turn that light off because it's kind of bright for you. So the CVS says that they're processing my prescription and it should be ready for pickup after 7 o'clock this evening. I noticed that once they actually get the ball rolling, they usually hedge their bets on the time. So I'm hoping it'll be done before 7 o'clock this evening because that way I can be home for midweek motivation. I'm not midweek motivation. This is midweek motivation for tea and biscuits. If I'm a little late to tea and biscuits, you'll know why. Okay. Comments galore because Elisa, okay, yeah, doorstopper of the year, says, hey, hope everyone is doing well. I'm doing better now. There was some drama, prescription related, medical related. And Roxy says, oh, welcome to the Double Nickel Club. Thank you, Roxy. As I replied, I can't drive 55 yet, but 3 weeks from Saturday, I'll be driving 55 no matter how fast I'm going. Uh-huh. Oh, Ana's here. Hey, Ana. She says, I'm at 51% in TPSC and still feeling pretty lukewarm to me. Happy to read it, but won't bother buying a physical copy, I don't think. Oh, is that Pumpkin Spice Cafe? Because I remember that B was like, hey, it was okay. It was no Honeycrisp Orchard Inn. Honeycrisp Orchard Inn was really good. I haven't read Pumpkin Spice Cafe, but I did read Honeycrisp Orchard Inn as an arc. Ooh, it's good. I really liked it. And Roxy Ann has big updates. She says she is not reading today. She's working and that she's leaving town for 6 weeks. Wow. My mom is having shoulder surgery next week. We'll try to join Midweek Motivation if I can. Well, very much good luck to your mom for having the surgery and being successful and relatively smooth recovery process. If she is in a mood to be, if this is the kind of thing she would enjoy, she can join Midweek Motivation. If she wants some, something fun to look forward to or to do during recovery. I know when I had major surgery, the first time I had major surgery was in like December of 2002. And they gave me OxyContin because they were still fairly, I mean, they were controlled about it. My doctor was not just handing it out like candy, but, it wasn't as restricted as it would become. They're just like, take it on this particular schedule until it's done, and then you'll switch to something else. So I spent a few days, I think it was about a week or so, just stoned out of my mind, recovering from surgery and watching Mystery Science Theater 3000 and relating it to some stuff I was reading about in an anthropological textbook I was working on for school, because I was taking some kind of anthropology or religion deal. And Lisa says, I hope her surgery goes well. Indeed, indeed. And Lisa says, I'm reading Honeycrisp, and it's way better than Pumpkin Spice Cafe. I didn't like Pumpkin Spice. I have not actually read it, like I said. And I know a lot of people who've read both are like, yeah, Honeycrisp Orchard Inn is the way to go. Except Gwen is like, she read both Honeycrisp and Pumpkin, and she likes Pumpkin better. So nice to have a diversity of opinion, a viewpoint diversity right here on Midweek Motivation, because we have it all. As you can see, our weather is having it all today. Just like, it was very rainy this morning. I think I talked about that when I was in the car waiting for my mom to be done with her meeting. I was just like, oh, it's raining. It's very cozy. And anyway, this book, I'm telling you, I'm not going very fast on this, because our friend who made all of these notes in the book, who read it in the past, I feel like I'm in some sort of time-lapse book club or something. She was not wrong. The language is a lot of fun, and I don't want to rush it. It's exactly what I needed today. It is just absolutely delightful. It is a bonbon of a book. And so I got a candle for it. I was like, this is a bonbon of a book. And I have like this whole candle set that's small votive candles, and it's designed to be like a chocolate box. Like, they're different kinds of truffles that you might find at a fancy chocolatier. So the one I got went with my coffee, because this one, I don't know if you can see what it says, but it's white chocolate raspberry, which is, of course, the coffee. I think I still have a swallow of coffee left. So it was just, I set it up and I put it on my nightstand, and then I reached for it like I was going to drink from the candle, not from my coffee mug. I figured that one out before it got disastrous. All a matter of taste, says Anna. That's part of the fun of getting different opinions. Yes, indeed. Indeed. It's because, like I said, I thought everybody felt that way, but Gwen is like, no, pumpkin spice was it for me. Well, I don't know if it was it for her, but she liked it better. I DNF'd both Honeycrisp just this morning, says Abby Jean. Wow, we really do have viewpoint diversity at Midweek Motivation. That is very cool. I mean, it's not cool that you had to DNF it, but it's kind of cool that everybody's got different viewpoints. Of course, I read it kind of a while ago, because I read it as an ARC, I think like 3 or 4 days before it came out. In fact, I actually put it on Instagram. Anyway, back to this book. Oh, comment? Those kitschy, cozy contemporaries are a hit or miss for me. Oh, yeah, I can see how you'd be like, yes, this is just not, if that is a fine line that people have to walk. It's true. It's true. Maybe you're like accidentally wedded to a werewolf. It's a kitschy, cozy contemporary with cozy monster vibes. The guy's a werewolf. He's nice. Okay, so this book is a gosh darn delight. I'm only on page 60, which for me, that's relatively slow reading, because I'm just enjoying it. I'm seeing what our fellow reader said about it before. I looked it up. Now, this book is mass market from 1992, and its retail price back then, $3.99. Guess what? You can find it on Kindle for $3.99. Abby Jean says, that one is on my list. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed Accidentally Wedded to a Werewolf. It was released yesterday, and I forgot to post anything about it on Instagram, because I read that as an ARC, because I think it's Harlequin. It's good. I liked it. There was also a novella called Christmas with a Chimera that's by the same writer in the same universe. It was okay. I liked Werewolf better. Just personal taste, I think. Anyway, so you can read this book on Kindle if you want. And I would say, I mean, I'm on page 60 of 188, so not quite a third of the way through. I would say it is absolutely delightful. I am having so much fun with it. Like I said, this is exactly what I needed to be reading this day. And so I would say, if people want to read it on Kindle, not on Kindle Unlimited, it's Kindle, it's $3.99, and it might well be worth your effort. your time and money and attention. So as you can see, I've done some tabs. And it's so funny because I have these tabs and then I have the little pencil markings from my previous reader. I feel like I should give her a name. Previous reader. Suggestions in the comments, please. Okay, so let's see. Okay, I found out, oh yeah, she actually does, Tess and Dulcie. Tess is our female main character. Dulcie is her younger sister. They do have a brother, Henry. So yeah, he's just not in this story. Sure, not appearing in this book so far. Anyway, we found out that Lord Revel is actually from the same county she's from. I think it was Wiltshire. So he's actually kind of not quite a neighbor, but he's from her part of the world. And let me see. So she goes to meet Lady Revel, who is Lord Revel's mom. And she's in Bath to take the water. She has gout. And so she's basically healthy. She has gout, and she's like, her toes hurt all the time. It's just like, I'd have them removed, except the gout would just go somewhere else in my body. So anyway, she's kind of fun. And she's willing to help Tess with her quest. Susan suggests Abby Jean. Soothe. Let's hear it for an angst-free zone. Well, I mean, they're frustrated. She is frustrated with her parents' behavior and her sister's behavior and the fact that she's taken on all these responsibilities and people just resent her for it. Anyway, so she goes and sees Lord Revel. His mother tells the butler, who is a bit of a character himself, is like, go tell, he says, Lord Revel's in the bath. And she says, well, go fetch him at once. It's urgent. So he comes down like in his bathrobe and with a towel around his neck. And he's like, I thought you said it was urgent. You know, like you set fire to the house or something. She's like, go get dressed. Anyway, and so we get it goes back and forth between their two viewpoints a little bit. I mean, it's third person limited, but we do get a little insight into both of what they're thinking during their first meeting. And she's thinking that, you know, he's a bit of a rogue, and she doesn't know that she approves, and she's not sure how to talk to him. She's like, I don't know how to talk to somebody like this. And he's thinking that she's just kind of very uptight, not uptight, but very proper. And he's not really sure how to talk to her. But, you know, anyway, it's very, very cute. And Joan Smith there's some nice banter, and she has a nice ear for descriptions. Let's see. Okay, she calls for the butler. A butler who looked strangely like a bulldog in a jacket appeared at the doorway. You screeched, your ladyship? He's a bit of an informal butler. And he also can he feels like he can be kind of casual because she owes him money because they were playing cards and he won. Let's see. And then after she sends Lord Revel back upstairs to get dressed, Lady Revel explained, I am a virtual hermit here. I so seldom have any callers that Anthony doesn't care how he walks around the house, but he does not usually come downstairs without his trousers on at least. Tess blushed like a blue cow and said it did not matter in the least. I like that she blushed like a blue cow. Haven't we all blushed like a blue cow? Let's see, where's another one? Oh, this one I really liked. Oh yes, I like this because she and her sister make plans to go out because she's talked to Lord Revel. Lord Revel has talked to Lord James, who's the guy who's kind of flirting with her mom. And he's explained that her mother doesn't have as much money. He's explained that Lady Marchant, Tess's mom, doesn't have as much money as Lord James perhaps thinks she does. That she has this house that she inherited from her father, but it's entailed to her son. So she doesn't, if he marries her, he's not going to get the house. It's going to go to her son. So now he said, oh, I'll stop trying to flirt with that lady. I'll stop trying to flirt with Lady Marchant. But he continues to flirt with Lady Marchant. And he's got his sights set on Tess. This is Lord James, not Lord Revel, because Tess has like 10,000 a year. That's a pretty nice chunk of change. So he starts flirting with Tess. Tess has his number, though. She knows what his deal is. Anyway, so she and her sister make these plans to go out because they think that Lord James is going to break up with their mother. He doesn't, so they just sit around, and then finally, Dulcie, this is the younger sister, was in a fit of the sulks. She asked the butler to send a pot of cocoa to her room. I shall be in bed reading The Castle of Otranto, she announced dolefully, as if she were going to the stake. So it's not the Castle of Adolfo, not, what is it, Adolfo, that Gwen is reading? It's The Castle of Otranto, not Mysteries of Adolfo. Couldn't remember what it was. Anyway, so it's just, it's charming, it's fun, and it's $3.99 on Kindle if you are inclined. And I like the idea that she's like going to take a pot of cocoa and take to her bed with Castle of Otranto and just sulk. This is Dulcie, not Tess. And Tess and Lord Revel end up going out. Oh, at one point he says, when they start formulating their plan to go around town and just like make her mother see what it's like to have a family member who's behaving in a way that's kind of untoward. So they kind of discuss it and they talk about it. They decide this is what they're going to do. And Revel says, I can be the very soul of indiscretion. That was fun. And there was something else here. Oh, yes. He's like, they're waiting for her mother to get home from going out with Lord James. And he says, we shall drive into the Crescent Gardens and see whose carriage is where it shouldn't be. And she says, what do you mean, Revel? And he said, as this revealed his own scarlet past, he ignored the question. Or we could just take a spin into the countryside. I don't understand. Why would anyone go to the Crescent Gardens so late at night? They could not see the flowers. They could smell them. They go there to cuddle, she exclaimed. That is what you meant. And he responds, cuddle is one word for it, I suppose. Castle is considered the first Gothic novel. Yeah, I think I guess would have been considered kind of scandalous for Dulcie to have been reading that. Anyway. Ha, says Anna. Yes, they go there to cuddle. Not what I would. Anyway, so it's just really what I needed to pick me up after a very trying morning and early afternoon. And knowing that the pharmacy and the doctor's office finally got their act together, that helps too. Like I said, I might be late for tea and biscuits because if they actually don't have it ready until after 7, then I need to pick it up. So we shall see. If I'm late, that's why. So how is everybody else doing? Yeah, Roxy Ann, I hope that your mother's going to be doing okay after the surgery. And like I said, if you can join us, awesome, great. Love to have you from afar, from a new location, I guess. And if your mom wants to join us, maybe it'll help cheer her up. Or maybe she'll just be like, I don't need this in my life. So glad you're enjoying it, says Abby Jean. I am too. And this is like the other one I read, and I think I mentioned this, but in case I didn't, This Fierce Splendor that I read, which was about the lady who was the civilian who was accepted into the astronaut program that I really enjoyed, that's actually on Kindle Unlimited. So if you have KU, you can read that. It is This Fierce Splendor by Kathy Clark. I really had a good time with it. And anyway, and I'm really enjoying this one too. So it's nice to have, after I had that one that I had to DNF and that other one that I didn't really enjoy very much, I'm glad to have a couple in a row that I like. Ana says, my dad's pharmacy and doctor like to play telephone with his prescriptions. One says one thing and one says another, and both are lying through their teeth. Yes, well, they were each blaming the other. And it's like usually my my meds management person, just like she'll see me, and I saw her in September, and she'll just phone in the prescription, and then the pharmacy will fill it when the insurance says it's time to, and everything is smooth. It's like stuff through a goose. But this time, she didn't do that. She's going on maternity leave pretty soon, so I think that she's probably got a lot of stuff she's got to juggle, but it would have been a lot easier if she had just phoned it in when I had that appointment with her last month. And then, because I have another one that's already been, that still has a refill on it, and they're holding that for insurance. And so as soon as, anyway, usually I don't run low. For some reason, I didn't have any extras this time. So like when it was up, it was up. Anyway, it's being resolved now. Lisa says, working like normal. It's not too crazy today. I had 2 tests I had to do yesterday. It was a stress test and an ultrasound for the heart. Ooh. Yeah. I remember I had to wear one of those cardiac Holter monitors that you put the electrodes on. And then it was funny because I actually had access to it where I could actually see how my heart rate was. And I mean, this was like a couple of days later, and I was like, okay. I didn't actually, I think it was like in the middle of summer, so I wasn't going out hiking in the woods or anything like that. So I wasn't doing anything that was too strenuous. But at one point I could see there was this like, it was like 11:37. It was for like 11:37 on a Tuesday morning or something like that. And there was this burst of energy. And I was like, oh, I remember I was sprinting up the stairs carrying something heavy. And so there's this big heart burst. I was like, yeah, that'll do it. I've done 2 of those, says Lisa. One was only 3 days, and the one I had not too long ago was 7 days. I think I did it once or twice. I think it was just the one time, and I just had a fun time looking at, I think it was a 48 hour, maybe it was a 72 hour, but I remember I was like, I'll go for a hike and see how it looks. And then the weather was just not cooperative. But I was like, oh, there is a giant burst of activity. That was me sprinting upstairs, carrying stuff. Oh, speaking of fun things, I got this book at Book Barn in Niantic. I love to go there, as you well know from hauls in the past. And they are having a sale. This mass markets are only $1 a piece there. And this is mass market, so they're having a sale though. Whoops. Just throwing my book around, bouncing all over the place. They're having a sale starting on Saturday and extending until the following Saturday, so the 11th to the 19th, or Friday, I guess. And it's 30% off store-wide, so I can do some damage. I can do some serious damage. And I did do some serious damage on Saturday. I went to 3, count them 3, 1, 2, 3 library sales. I went to Simsbury. Simsbury has a bear problem. It's kind of like a fairly affluent suburban type city, town, suburban, suburban, and they have a bear problem. Like bears are constantly wandering into people's gardens, even into their houses, and eating their Nutella. There was one that's like last month sometime, I think it was, where it wandered into the house, it went into the fridge, it grabbed the lady's grapes. And she was really mad about the grapes. She was like, it ate my grapes. I hadn't had a chance to eat any of them. And she very specified they were my crunchy grapes from Costco. And it ate them. And I hadn't had any of them yet. And it also took a rotisserie chicken out of the fridge, but didn't eat it. And it ate some of their Nutella. I mean, these bears are bold. And I actually was driving to Simsbury, and I saw, this was like, I don't know, probably around, I think it was around 8:30 or so in the morning on a Saturday. And there was a bear just hanging out by the side of the road. And this was not like a rural part of the road. This was like, there's road, a grass strip, sidewalk, and then like a manicured lawn leading up to a business park. So it's like, fairly, it's fairly developed. It is developed. And there was a bear that was like just grazing in the grass. He's like, yes, baby, can you do it? Anyway, and I was like, oh, I thought I was still in Avon, but I must be in Simsbury because there's the bear. And it turned out, no, that was an Avon bear. So they're getting bolder and bolder. Next thing you know, they're going to be wearing little bows and drinking bathtub gin and listening to that jazz music. So I went to the Simsbury one and I found a bunch of cool stuff, but it was very crowded. However, give me a second. I found this gorgeous book. There's a comment from Abby Jean. Funny thing to get hung up on, the grapes. Yeah, it was like, and her daughter, who's like a senior in high school, was like, I don't know what time of day it was. I think it was like at night, and she said she heard something and she thought it was a bear, but she wasn't sure. And so she was like, I was in my bedroom with the door closed, thinking, just move on, move on. You don't need to come in here. So fortunately, it didn't. So she was fine. I want to pet Baloo. Baloo is friend. Her name is Belinda. But yes, the bear by the side of the road. I was just like, what was really scary to me was that about a mile away from there, I saw a jogger out. And I'm like, oh, I hope that jogger wasn't planning to come up this road. Anyway, this is the gorgeous book I found. It is a new book from 2025. It is by Mira Grant, who's also known as Shannon McGuire. And I like some of her stuff and some of it I don't. But this was like $3. Look at this. Isn't that, oh, wait, wrong side. Isn't that beautiful? Oh, wow. That is just so pretty. Want to save your grapes? Lock your door. I know. It's like crunchy. Well, she was very specific that they were crunchy grapes from Costco. I like that she wanted to make sure we knew that they were from Costco. Oh, goodness, ain't it? That is gorgeous, isn't it, though? Oh, my gosh. It's called Overgrowth. That is a shelf-worthy trophy. Well, I actually, when I put it back, I'll show it because I actually have it on one of those display stands because she's so birdie. Anyway, and there's foiling on the inside of the desk jacket. And this is what's underneath. Oops, wrong side. I think I've explained this before, but on StreamYard, your comments are on this side. And so I always want to hold things up over here. But from your perspective, that's being covered up by this comment from Ada. So I got to remember to put them over here. Look, that's what's underneath. Wrap around Wednesday. And then the back. It is gorgeous. And I mostly enjoy Mira Grant. So Shannon McGuire, when she's writing as Shannon McGuire, she's kind of hit or miss for me. But as Mira Grant, I usually enjoy her work. But even if I didn't, so pretty. That's absolutely gorgeous. Barkety, barkety. Oh my God. Oh, MJ. I'm going to put it back and then you can see where I have it displayed. That's where I have it right now. But I have a newish shelf in the corner of my bedroom here. Right now it has a bunch of tiaras and stuffed animals, but I'm going to do it up so that it has some other stuff, so that it's like and that book is going to be kind of the centerpiece of that shelf. I think I'm probably going to listen to The Life of a Showgirl, or maybe I'll go back to Tortured Poets Department. I haven't listened to a whole lot of Taylor Swift, so I thought maybe when I go to do that shelf, I'll just vibe with one of her albums. Huh, says Abby Jean. I didn't know they were the same person. I think Shannon McGuire is her actual name, but I'm not sure. Beautiful book, says Roxy Ann. It is. It is so gorgeous. And it just came out earlier this year. I don't know how it ended up at a library sale, but I'm glad it was there and I'm glad I saw it. The new one is lots of dancing tunes. I want something maybe dreamier. Maybe I'll listen to Lover. I think that's fairly dreamy. Anyway, I want something atmospheric and dreamy because I'm going to do some Ivy, and I do have, hold on a second. I'm going to move the computer so you can see the corner. It's dark again, so I'm not sure how much you'll be able to see it. I hope you were able to see that, at least somewhat. That's the shelf I'm going to do some stuff with. And Lisa suggests Folklore or Evermore is perfect for this season. Yeah, and Gwen is pointing out that Mira also writes as Shannon McGuire. I'm not sure which is her actual name, but yeah, I like her Shannon McGuire stuff. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Mira Grant, I've enjoyed everything I've read under the Mira Grant name so far. So we shall see, but it was like, it's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. I don't even care what it's about, although apparently there's some computer stuff. I don't know if you saw on the end paper, there was like somebody meditating in the foreground and in the background. There were people like on using computers. So I think there's some kind of like sci-fi fantasy computer going into a different world kind of a situation, which, you know, kind of my jam. Speaking of my jam, let's see. How about anyway, that was my I mean, I bought a lot of books. Of course. Oh, because after I went to Simsbury, I drove across the river and through the woods to get to Mansfield, Mansfield is the town where University of Connecticut is located, but I was going to their public library, found some nice stuff there. And then I went to Colchester because it's kind of on the way home. I went to Colchester. They have a sale every 4 months. They have it 3 times a year. And they actually had at Simsbury, I found a whole bunch of Harlequin Temptation books. And at Colchester, I found a whole bunch of Harlequin Presents like from the last year or so. So they're the paperback Max, slightly bigger than the or the Max paperback, slightly bigger than the mass market. And also some of those presents were new enough that they had the what Kristen Lee calls the Dancing with the Stars covers. Hang on. Well, I thought I could get them out quite easily. I can't. After the next sprint, maybe, because I would like to read some more. I don't know that I'm going to get this finished today because I don't want to go too late because I might have to. I mean, I have to run that errand, and of course, Tea and Biscuits is going to be on at 7. So yeah. So let's have another. I think I'm going to go until a little less than 45 minutes, until about quarter till or 45 minutes past the hour. So sprinting. So I will see you in 45 minutes. And Okay, it's been a little bit of time. Okay. Okay. It's been just about 45 minutes, I think. Yeah, okay. Abby Jean had to leave, but she will see us tonight for those of us attending Tea and Biscuits at 7 p.m. And I meant to look up and I forgot. I don't know if it's on Tara's channel or B's. Give me a quick second and I will update interested parties. Well, as I'm Monopoly, this is uninterested parties as well. Oh, excuse me. Mm-hmm. Let's see. Oh, for crying out loud. Decentralized information. It is on Tara's channel tonight at 7. People wishing Abby Jean to have a good night. And Ana's saying, I think I have notifications on for both channels. I do as well, but I just wanted to verify it is on Tara's channel for those of you who are looking to join. Tara Talks Books at 7 p.m. So, yeah, so I didn't make too much more progress on this. Like I said, I've been kind of distracted and, not having my medication doesn't really help with that. And of course, now that I know that they're working on it, I feel a little bit better. I'm continuing to enjoy it. She has a very playful way with language, and it's definitely a comedy of manners. So there's like all of this scattering around, and it's not exactly a farce yet, but there is a lot of running around and misunderstandings and people thinking they've been invited to an event when they really haven't. And the person who accidentally sort of kind of didn't invite them to the event is like, oh no, I accidentally sort of kind of invited this person to the event and that was not my intention. So it's like that kind of stuff. And it's fun. So fun. $3.99 on Kindle. And I think I'm going to I think I'm going to finish it next week because I know I try to do these in one afternoon, but that's just not going to happen. If I try to read it that fast, I'm not going to enjoy it as much. And I still have about 88 pages to go. So, and it's getting on toward 5. And again, since we have that live stream at 7, I did pull out the box of categories. Well, I didn't buy a box of categories. The box I put the categories in. I could talk about that now if people are interested, or I could save that for a different stream. My stream hours reset on the 14th, which is next Tuesday, and I still have something like 8 hours or something to go, and it'll reset before the next midweek motivation. I think it was last week or the week before this, somewhere along the line, I've done them a couple of times on Saturdays, and that has not worked out terribly well because I think Saturdays, the internet is a little slow around here. I don't notice it in my normal interactions, but like last Saturday when Stormy and I were doing the sprints, it was like our voices were breaking up. It was not a pleasant audio experience. So I think maybe I'll do some in the evening or afternoon on a weekday when there aren't as many people home and using the interwebs. Let's see. I did pick up. This stack of Harlequin Temptations. There's 2, 4, 6, 8. And these are the Max paperbacks of Harlequin Presents, which it looks like they started doing that in March of last year. And this is 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. 14 of those. And then some Harlequins just before they made the switch. Actually, some of these are older. Some of these are from like 2016, but some of them are from March of 2024, I think. And then April of 2024 was when they went to the larger size. Although they were, here we go. They were still using the white background. And then more recently, they switched to this, the one that wrong side, Kristen Lee describes as the Dancing with the Stars covers. Da, 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 da. Anyway, so we have these. And one of these smaller ones is actually a Christmas one. So I need to stick that with my Christmas. I have a box of Christmas books in the sitting room next door. And I also found this vintage Harlequin romance, sprayed edges and all, called Roman Summer by Jane Arbor, as in Arbor Day. And then this one is an omnibus volume of 3 books by Eleanor Farnes. And this is old enough that this 3-book omnibus, which is almost 600 pages long, retailed for $1.95. Mm-hmm. And I think one of these books, I don't know when this edition came out, but the copyright dates on these books are 1961, 1959, and 1954. I think it was a more recent, this was 1974 that the book was published, but the copyright dates on the books are much earlier. It's got this nifty little, I guess that's a woodcut. Anyway, so that's that. And so I will finish this book next week. It is charming. It is delightful. And like I said, we're just running around, just having all kinds of social misunderstandings and just trying to figure it out. And oh my gosh, it is fun. And I will finish it next week. And now I am going to see what I can do about getting my errands run. I am planning to go to the reading sprints tonight, but if the pharmacy really honestly doesn't have my script ready until 7 o'clock, then I will be a smidge bit late. Hopefully they'll have it sooner. Sometimes sharing a book makes it that much better. Kindle, $3.99. I mean, it's kind of expensive, but actually, like I said, that was the cover price for this book in I should probably blow out my candle before I start throwing flammable objects around. There we go. That this was $3.99 cover price in 1992. So over 30 years ago. Is that over 30 years ago now? Wow, it is. 33 years ago. So if people want to read it or catch up to me, I am on, if people are interested in actually having a group discussion or something, I am on, I just finished chapter 11. So, and of course we have the previous reader whom Abby Jean suggested we call Susan. So Susan, we have her insights as well, which also makes me feel like I'm not reading it alone because Susan had things to say. Oh yes, she did. So I'm going to sign off now. And like I said, I will see you this evening, hopefully not too late. CVS isn't that far from my house, but depends on how long I have to wait in line. They might have it ready a little bit early. Sometimes they do, but if they're really slammed, then maybe not. We'll see. Okay, so otherwise, I will see you. I might, like I said, I might do an extra live stream or two on a weekday afternoon or evening because I have all those extra StreamYard hours, so might as well. And oh yeah, and like I was talking about how Book Barn is having a 30% off everything sale. So this book that I spent $1 on at Book Barn a few months ago, I could potentially find another book by her for 70 cents. Or a longer book for 70 cents. Whatever. And all of their other books are going to be 30% off. And so maybe if I do another live stream between now and next Wednesday, I could do a little bit of a haul. I could talk about some of the other stuff I picked up over this past weekend. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Anyway, thank you very much for joining me. If you were watching it back later, thank you very much for doing that. If you enjoy what you see here, like, comment, share, subscribe, or don't. I am not the boss of you. So I hope you have a good day or night. See you later, says Gwen. Be safe on your errands, says Ana. Thank you very much. I appreciate that, and I will do my best. See you later, indeed. Bye.